Hi friends, good morning and welcome to this new class. And I hope you remember what we have been studying in the last class. We are talking about that movement started, consumer movement that started. What is the reason behind? And we saw the reason behind was that continued dissatisfaction, that anger against being cheated continuously, being denied the rights, or that caused the movement formation. And over the past years, we saw so many new groups, new associations, or new movements of the consumers. That is, consumers are becoming more and more aware about their rights and their determination to fight against corruption and injustice and so. And that is a good move by the way. Let us see about one such move called Consumer International. Consumer International. You can take page number 78. So in 1985, United Nations adopted the UN guidelines for consumer protection. So in 1985, it was brought to the attention of the United Nations about the need to protect the consumers. Then this was a tool for nations to adopt measures to protect consumers and for consumer advocacy groups to press their governments to do so. So what did they do? It was a tool for the nations to adopt measures to protect consumers. So when UN encouraged it, it became an occasion, it became an opportunity for the nations to form such groups and to protect the consumers of their nation. And at the international level, this has become the foundation for consumer movement. Today, Consumers International has become an umbrella body of 240 organizations from over 100 countries. So this Consumers International has become an umbrella body or a main body, or we can say a mother body, under which there are so many other organizations are there. Around 240 consumers movements are there, which are spread across 100 countries. So it became the international body to organize the different consumer movements spread all over the world. So that's a good move, and that will make the producers and others to not to cheat or not to just take for granted the consumers, but they come to know that consumers are aware about their rights and they will fight for their right. So that is a good move. So because of this, people's awareness, people's interest to fight against corruption, people's interest to demand their right and so on, the movement succeeded in bringing pressure on business firms as well as government to correct business conduct which may be unfair and against the interests of consumers at large. So, when people became more and more aware about their rights, coming together, forming consumer movements, what was the result? The result became they were able to bring pressure on the firms or the producing firms or the companies of the industries and so on. Also put pressure on the government, because it became the duty of the government to check that in the market there is no adulteration, the consumers are not cheated and so on. So government could not just wash off their hands. They had to provide the security, the protection that the people required. And a major step taken in 1986 by the Indian government was the enactment of the Consumers Protection Act 1986, popularly known as COPRA. So, because of by seeing the initiative of the people, the consumer movements made by the people, the Indian government also reacted positively by enacting a law in the parliament called Consumers Protection Act 1986. So government made a law. So every Indian citizen has got the right to demand for his rights as a consumer. So if he is cheated or if he is found or given things which are adulterated, or if he is unfairly treated, and so he can use the power of this law in order to demand justice, in order to demand compensation, and so on. So remember the law, that is, when was it passed? It was in 1986. That is why together with the act name or the law name, it is given Consumer Act Protection Act 1986. Now the year at the end shows in which year the law was passed, and it is popularly known as COBRA. And you will learn more about COBRA later. So towards the end of this lesson, we will learn more about COBRA. Then let us see about our rights. So long we are talking about protecting our rights. Let us see now how they are protected, or what are our rights, and so on. So safety is environment's right. So we call about environment protection and so on. So safety is the everyone's right. Everyone has got the right to be safe. Let's see the example of Reggie. Reggie Matthew, a healthy boy studying in class 9, was admitted in a private clinic in Kerala for removal of tonsils. So this boy, class 9 boy, and he was suffering from tonsils, from the pain that we get in the throat. So an ENT surgeon performed the tonsillectomy operation under general anesthesia. So the doctor gave him general anesthesia. General means the entire body will be kept numb, will not experience pain. So the doctor performed the operation by giving general anesthesia. And as a result of improper anesthesia, Reggie showed symptoms of some brain abnormalities, because of which he was crippled for life. So the anesthesia that doctor gave before operation, that was not a proper one. Should have given exactly, this area should have been numbed properly, anesthesia. So he gave general anesthesia, the whole body was numb, but not exactly this proper place was not properly anesthetized. Therefore the boy's health was affected. Something happened to his brain because of this wrong anesthesia, and what was the result? He was crippled for life. He could not walk all his life. You can see in the picture, he is sitting in a wheelchair. He could not walk. He was crippled for his entire life. So his father filed a complaint in the State Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission, claiming compensation of 5 lakhs for medical negligence and deficiency in the service. So he filed case against this hospital, against this doctor, because they were negligent. They were not careful to perform this operation properly, and therefore he demanded that they should pay 5 lakh rupees for him as a compensation. So he went to the State Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission, and the State Commission saying that the evidence was not sufficient, dismiss it. But the Commission said your evidence is not enough to prove that doctor was negligent or the hospital was negligent. Therefore they dismissed the petition, did not give him compensation. So Reggie's father appealed again in the National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission located in New Delhi. So he went to higher. First he went to state level, and the state level court did not accept his petition. So he went to national level in Delhi. And the National Commission, after looking into the complaint, held the hospital responsible for medical negligence and directed it to pay the compensation. So he got compensation from Delhi. So they understood that it was a mistake of the doctor and the hospital. Therefore, they told him to pay the compensation. So just like when we go to the district court, if our petition is not accepted, we can go to high court. If it's not accepted in the high court, we can go to Supreme Court. So up to Supreme Court, we can go for addressing our civil concerns, our problems. The same way, the consumer court also, there are different levels, district level, national level, and so on. So in one court, if we have failed, doesn't matter, we can still apply to higher levels. And that is what the case of Reggie shows us, that his father was not giving up, not willing to give up, because he knew that it was a mistake of the doctor and the hospital. Therefore he went ahead with complaint, and finally he got justice. So Reggie's suffering shows how a hospital, due to negligence by the doctor and staff in giving anesthesia, cripple a student for life. While using many goods and services, we as consumers have the right to be protected against the marketing of goods and delivery of services that are hazardous to life and property. So just as if you go to hospital, you have every right to be treated properly, and doctors cannot just take to chance to treat you. If they are not able to treat, they should tell we cannot treat, go to other hospital. If they take the responsibility of treating you, then they have to be very cautious. They have to do the operation and the treatment well. And in case of their lack of care or improper treatment, if anybody gets sick or gets worse, then they have the right to compensation. They can complain against the hospital, against the doctor, and they can claim for the compensation. That is our right. In the same way, a person who is working in a factory, a person who is working under somebody else, they also have got certain rights, that they should be paid normal wage, they should have the safe situation to work, and they have no reason to work under such a dangerous situation where their life can be under threat and so on. So such kind of situation should not be there. If it is there, they have every right to go to the court. Then producers need strictly follow the required safety rules and regulations, and there are many goods and services that we purchase that require special attention to safety. For example, pressure cookers have a safety valve which, if it is defective, can cause a serious accident. The manufacturers of the safety valve have to ensure high quality. You also need public or government action to see that this quality is maintained. However, we do find bad quality products in the market because the supervision of these rules is weak and the consumer movement is also not strong enough. So, in the society we have every reason to have certain rights. In the market, what we are buying, the things should be a very good quality, especially the quality that are connected with life. The things that we use for treatment, it all cannot be given to the chance, because it can affect the life, it can affect the life of a person. Therefore, it has to be of high quality and should be made with very utmost care. And if we find that things are not of good quality, then we can complain. But in the market we find again and again a lot of duplicate things are produced, a lot of second class or second grade things are available, and we are paying the price of it as a first grade, and we don't get the desired results. Therefore, it is against the law and we have every right to complain. But the officers we see, those who are supposed to check, they have, maybe they receive certain amount of money as a bribe, therefore they don't they just ignore it and they don't check. Or to bring up the issue to the public, to the media, maybe social movement also, or the consumer movement also is not that strong enough. So because of all this, the producers, they are taking advantage of the situation, and they try to bring down the grade or the quality of the product and they try to get maximum profit. That is what is going on in our country, in our society, and especially in most of the developing countries. So it is from our own side that we need to be aware about our right, and we need to stand for our right, and not just, oh, this is my fate, what to do, I have nothing to do. Just lamenting is not enough, just crying and weeping is not enough, but must stand for right. Or once if you are cheated, don't just allow yourself to be cheated again and again. Try to stand for your right, and that is how the consumers can become stronger in our country, in our society. And when we stand for our right, we remember we are encouraging others as well. And as we say, unity is strength. So if one consumer alone tries, it will be difficult. But many consumers who are affected by malpractices and unfair practices, then they come together, then it becomes a unity and it becomes a strength. And that is how we need to form associations, and associations can perform better than a single individual. So that is about the consumer rights. So we need to stand for our right, and surely the result will be on our side. Now let's see about information that we buy the goods and so from the market. There should be certain information. If you look at, you will find there are a lot of informations are printed there. Very often we fail to read, we fail to check, even we fail to see what is the MRP written there, maximum retail price. We just give the price what they are asking and we go. So we must check the price, and we must check the date, manufacturing date, and we must check when is the expiry date. All these things we must check, and all these things are written there, but we must be careful, we must check it. That is all we need to be aware about the information that the company is providing. We need to check whether it is true or not, and so on. Okay. When you buy any commodity, you will find certain details given on the packing. These details are about ingredients used, the price, the batch number, date of manufacture, expiry date, and the address of the manufacturer. We can underline what are the information you will get when you buy a commodity. What are they? You will see the ingredients that are used. This thing is made with what are the ingredients used in that, making that. Then the price, MRP, then the batch number will be written, then the date of manufacture, expiry date, and the address of the manufacturer, where, which company is producing this. So make sure that when you buy, turn over and left and right and see these details. If these details are not there, that means the thing is not of the good quality. So try not to buy such kind of things. Try to buy things that are with all these informations. When we buy medicines on the package, you might find directions for proper use. So the medicine that we buy, usually the company is supposed to give the direction printed there, how to use, or directions for use, and information relating to the side effects and the risk associated with the usage of that medicine. And sometimes they will say this medicine is not meant for the children, or this medicine if you use, there can be such and such side effects. So all the informations are to be given there by the company. And when you buy garments, you will find information on instructions of washing. Suppose you are buying a new dress, a jacket, let's say you are buying a jacket, and you will see some information are written there, how to wash that. You must wash in the cold water, or you must wash in the hot water, or you must not wrinkle the clothes, or you must dry it in the cool shade. So all the informations will be given there when you buy a new dress. That is all their responsibility, and it is our right to know all the things. So why is it that rules have been made so that the manufacturer displays this information? It is because consumers have the right to be informed. about the particulars of goods and services that they purchase. So why do these companies write all these informations? Because it's a rule of the country, and the country has given the rule that those who are producing things, they should write all these informations on that, because it is the right of the consumers to know about what they are buying. And consumers can then complain and ask for compensation or replacement if the product proves to be defective in any manner. So consumer, after getting all this information, they can see whether what is written is correct or not. And if they find it is not correct, then they can ask for compensation, or they can go to the place and say, give me another one, this is not good. So we have the right for that. For example, if we buy a product, find out if it is defective, well within the expiry period, we can ask for replacement. Suppose if we have bought a thing and we find that it is defective, and we need to check when is the expiry date. And if it is spoiled before the expiry date, then we can go and ask for replacement. Suppose you keep it for a long time and the expiry date is already over, then you go to the shop and say, give me another one. They will not give you, because the validity is already over. Then if the expiry period was not printed, the manufacturer would blame the shopkeeper and will not accept the responsibility. So that's why I said, when you buy a thing, you have to make sure the expiry date is printed there. If it is not there, the company will not take up the responsibility. Company will say, we had printed there, shopkeeper might have rubbed it off. That kind of excuses may be made. So in order to avoid that, you need to make sure that all these things were there. Then if people sell medicines that have expired, severe action can be taken against them. And similarly, one can protest and complain if someone sells a good at more than the printed price on the packet. This is indicated by MRP, maximum retail price. In fact, consumers can bargain with the seller to sell less than MRP. So, if medicine, in the case of medicine is very, it is affecting the health of a person. It can even affect the life of a person. Therefore, selling medicine and producing medicine and selling medicine should be very careful. So every medicine has got the expiry date. And if you find any pharmacy is selling the medicine that is already expiry date is crossed, then we can complain against that person and strict action will be taken against that. So remember, when you go to the pharmacy, don't just take and go the medicine that they give. Check the date, when was it manufactured and when is the expiry date, and so on. Also, if you go to the shop to buy something and you find he is taking more money than the MRP that is written, that is printed on the thing, then you can complain against that. That is illegal. In fact, you can even bargain to reduce the price below the MRP, because the company produces, let's say for example, 50 rupees thing, and they will print the MRP maybe 80 rupees or 90 rupees. So they will not put the exact price which they have spent. They will include all the taxes, include all the profits of the middleman, transporters and the shopkeeper, and so they will put very high price. So they will be getting lot of commission. So if you bargain, they will be able to give us some share of their commission. Otherwise, the entire profit will go to them. So we also have got the right to get things at a cheaper rate. So that is also our right. We can bargain for it. Then, in recent times, the right to information has been expanded to cover various services provided by the government. In October 2005, the Government of India enacted a law popularly known as RTI, Right to Information Act, which ensures its citizens all the information about the functions of the government and departments. The effect of the RTI Act can be understood from the following case. So, it is not only about the things that we buy. Now, government has passed a law in 2005 called Consumers' Right Act. So, Right to Information Act. So, anything that is taking place in this country, even in the government office, you can ask, you can write a petition or you can write a letter saying and explain how this section of the government is functioning, how this department of the government is functioning, and they are bound to give you information about the finance that they have received, how they have spent their finance, how they are paying salary, how much they are paying salary. They cannot hide it because government has made it a law that it will inform to the citizens about everything. So it has become a right of the citizens to know about the government, how does it function, and so on. And let's see a case about this Right to Information Act. So Amada, an engineering graduate, after submitting all the certificates and attending the interview for a job in a government department, did not receive any news of the result. So a girl, she went to a government office for a job interview. She submitted all her documents, everything was done properly, but she did not receive any result. They did not say you are selected or not selected. She was kept waiting without giving any proper information. The officials also refused to comply with her queries. She many times went and inquired, but the officers did not give her any information. And she therefore filed an application using the RTI Act, saying that it was her right to know the results in a reasonable time so that she could plan her future. And she soon got her call letter for appointment. So she complained using this right to Information Act. She said, I want to know my result within a stipulated time so that I can plan out for my future. If I am not appointed here, I can apply for another job in another company. So I am kept waiting and waiting, therefore I cannot plan out my future. Therefore she complained, and the complaint reached the office, and the officers immediately took the action, and she was appointed there. So it is because of this law that she was given job. Otherwise they were trying to do some corruption there, maybe trying to take bribe from her. That's why I kept waiting without giving the result. So because of this her knowledge about this RTI, she was able to file a case to the government, and the government gave her the reply immediately. So she was able to get it because of this benefit of RTI. So there are many rules and privileges are available for the consumers, for the citizens of our country, but we are not aware about it. We just go on living our life satisfied with what is available here. So we must fight for our right, and we should not encourage corruption. We must always do what is right. If somebody asks you, if you give me some money, I will do this work for you, you should not do that. That is against the law. So you must file a case against that person in the police station. That is how we can stand for right and fight for your justice. So be strong and be aware about your rights and have the knowledge about the law, and it will take care of you. So wish you all the best. Have a life that is of your right, a clean life, a sincere life, a corruption-free life. So thank you for listening. We'll meet you again in the next class, and we'll talk about what will you do if your choice is denied, if your rights are denied. What will you do? What are the options available? We shall meet, we shall explain it in the next class. So thank you for listening. Bye.